Hey guys, welcome back to What a Comedian. My name is Natalie, as always have been. I'm trying out new things with microphones, so there might be a quality difference between my actual interview and right now because I'm trying things out. But I hope you guys are having a good time currently. And I don't know about you guys, but it's been so hot around Michigan. Like, I'm currently sweating so much, even though I'm in my own room with a fan going on. Maybe you can hear it, I don't even know. But it's been horrible, and I've been suffering. But other than that, college applications have been in its really high rampage. I'm trying to finish everything before November 1st, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But that's okay because I'm not really applying to that many early action schools. So, yeah. Okay, I can just start. I guess I can just start going on with the episode. So, today I'm going to be talking with Matt O'Brien. He is currently residing in California, but I believe he is in Europe as we speak for some tour or some gig, which I'm really happy for him. Go, Matt. But I really did have a fun conversation with him. We definitely cover a lot of things, and I hope he will get sponsored by Costco. And we'll see how his career goes. But I really enjoy our conversation. It was really fun. I think it was like one of the best ones, honestly. And yeah. So, anyways, how are you? How are you doing today?
Good. Yeah, my wife's out of town, so I'm just kind of just bopping around the house with the dog, not doing anything.
Yeah.
I got some shows this weekend, but I'm just taking it easy. It's a long weekend in Canada this weekend, so I'm kind of treating it as such.
I see. I've been like okay. Nothing much has been happening in my life, TBH. So, I'm bored.
Well,
That's why we're doing this.
so we're doing a podcast. Great.
Exactly.
The best time to do it.
Yeah. Take a listen. Okay. First question. How and when did you know that you wanted to be a comedian?
Um, that's a great question. I always wanted to do something entertainment wise. Even as a kid, I was obsessed with comedies specifically, and also like making my parents laugh was a big deal to me. And I didn't even really know that comedy was like a career, even though I'd watch comedians growing up. I'm like, oh, they just were always that. I
Yeah.
don't. I never knew you could pursue it just a regular person, and it wasn't until I moved to Toronto when I was in my early 20s, and yeah, I just went to my first open mic at a comedy club, and um, I was like, I just want to do this for the rest of my life. I just knew it the second I did it, kind of thing, and yeah, that was over 16 years ago. It's
Lord.
crazy.
Did I
Yeah,
mention how old you were?
I'm 59 years old. No, I'm almost 40, which is feels crazy
Yeah.
because when I when I was a senior in high school, like you,
Yeah.
I thought 40 was the oldest age you could be, and now as I'm approaching 40, I'm like, well, I still feel like a senior in high school. Like I don't feel this at all. Like this is my parents were this age. Like this doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. It's crazy.
No, yeah, I definitely it feels weird to me because like me and my sister, my older sister have like such a large age gap. So my parents are automatically really relatively old when they had me. So they're relatively older compared to other parents. So it's very I have like a very weird perspective on like age, I would say.
Yeah. Do people mistake them as grandparents sometimes? Are they that old
Oh
or?
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
because so me and my sister have a 17-year-old age gap.
Oh, wild.
I know. I'm like, why did you decide to have a child after that? But it's fine. And
Doesn't
then
really sound like a decision at that point.
I don't think about it that much.
Yeah.
But like a lot, there's like an ongoing theory with my friends. They're like, so my sister actually had like a teenage pregnancy, and but she couldn't afford to raise the child, so they just gave it to my mother, and all that
Oh.
shenanigans. And I'm like, I mean, logically that does make sense in a way, but I'm
Sure.
wondering why my sister hasn't come to pick me up yet.
Yeah, that's yeah. Any day now, I'm
Any
sure.
day. I'm waiting to go to California here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have what were you some of your inspirations to in this comedy career?
Growing up, I was obsessed with like Jim Carrey and Robin Williams, and it's funny because not a lot of like actual stand-up comedian influences, but more like movie comedian, like Steve Martin and Martin Short, Dan Aykroyd as well. All the like SCTV, SNL, like old school guys. Watching those people, yeah, they made me want to do it. Absolutely.
Have you watched Only Murders in a Building yet?
Yes, of course I have.
I'm so excited for the new season.
Me too. I can't. I like Martin Short is like top three for me all time. Like I love. I saw him in the airport in LAX a couple of years ago, and he was like, because my friend was like, "Oh, I think that's Martin Short," and this is when we all had to wear masks in the airport. And I was like, "How do you know that's Martin Short?" And then Martin Short walked by like this, like fully like swinging his arms, and I'm like, "That's the most Martin Short walk I've ever seen."
He's so
He's
out
a very
there.
tiny guy too. Yeah, such a goofball.
He's such a goofball. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see a goofball every now and then, especially in this day and age.
Exactly, exactly. Did you have any like proper education doing this comedy career, or like did you like go through any classes or anything?
No, actually, my wife, who's also a comedian, she took a comedy course at a college in Toronto called Humber. Humber College has like a comedy where you learn writing and sketch and kind of stand up and everything. And when I started comedy, I actually just kind of hung out with those people that went to that college and like leached information from them. So I like, when you're like uh, on vacation or something and you kind of overhear like a tour guide giving a tour of like a
Yeah,
city
yeah,
because you don't want to pay for it. So
yeah,
I was like, I was just kind of being like, oh yeah, so where do I go? And like, how am I supposed to do this? And like, because they all learned it at school.
yeah.
And it got to the point where people thought that I went to that college because they're like, oh yeah, you're doing all the things that we learned in college. And I was like, well, I didn't actually go there. So I just kind of leached information from there. And then yeah, for the most part, I just figured it out. It's stand up especially is just getting out there and doing it and being around it
Yeah.
at all times and until the community just kind of accepts you and then you're just all of a sudden part of it, which is still weird to me because for years when people would ask me what my job is, I would always be like, I'd never want to say comedian because I'm like, oh, I'm not a comedian. Like I'm just, I am a comedian, but I don't feel like I'm doing it. And then after I've been doing it for 10 years, I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm a comedian by now. I think I
Yeah.
can
I've
start
done
telling
this long
people, yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I'm making money, I'm paying rent with it.
Yeah.
I can tell
I've
people
earned
that.
this degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna make a fake diploma
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
I graduated from stand-up comedy.
Yeah, or just like a clown college.
Oh yeah, I actually did just take a clown class a couple weeks ago.
What?
It's a clowning is it's coming back. Not like big red nose, floppy shoes clowning, but like modern clowning,
Yeah.
where it's they teach you how to deal with failure and stuff like that, and just basically being goofy and stupid with no regrets,
No
which is
no
like
thoughts behind the eyes.
no thoughts, yeah, and like just which helped me get out of my head a little bit. I really like that class. I think I would take more of it because even as a comedian, I'm still in my head a lot. Like if a joke doesn't work or something,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I still like get down on myself about it. Whereas these clowns, they don't care. They're just out there doing it, and I respect it.
That sounds like such a nice mindset to be in. It's just like not to think about opinions that much.
Yeah, which somebody I was listening to a podcast and they're like, that's how you become like a famous person. Like famous people don't care what other people think. Like they just are like they're in this mindset where they're just like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it my way. Who cares what anyone else thinks? And it can be a fine line to walk, of course, but it's getting into that mindset where you're just like, I know what I'm doing is good, and I'm just going to do it, and who
Yeah.
cares what other people think.
Yeah, it's definitely scary since it's like there's so much hate in the world nowadays, especially on social media.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah, like yeah, people commenting on my videos, just like not funny or this guy stinks or and then the best is somebody will say something mean on one of my videos and I'll respond to it and they'll be like, oh man, like I didn't mean it, like they don't think I would see it for some reason,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
have an assistant or something, and I'm like, I'm literally on the toilet right now, like reading these comments, like it's just me.
Yeah, there's no assistant here managing my social media accounts here. I see this.
I'm not there yet, so it's
Yeah.
definitely me on all my accounts.
What is the worst like live heckle you've gotten?
Oh my God, so many. I mean, how do I pick one? I had a chicken wing thrown at me in Calgary, Alberta once. Um, and in the most Canadian fashion, he apologized immediately after. It was like in the air, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh,
And then it didn't hit me; it hit the stage. I was just like, "Why would you do that?" He's just like, I'm drunk, man." Like it's there's been a what's another good heckle I've gotten? It's man, I did a show last night that I didn't it was like kind of like a stand-up comedy game show, and if you went over time, one of the hosts would blow like a gym whistle at you, and so I accidentally went like a minute over time, and all I hear is this giant whistle go off, and I had no idea this was part of the show, and I got so irritated. I was like so rattled by it.
yeah.
When you're not expecting a whistle and you hear a whistle, it's like the worst thing in the world. It's
That definitely I'm very sensitive to loud noises. So anything, like even I'm in band class. And I know there's supposed to be like a trombone coming in, and I still like jump from hearing it.
oh my God, yes, it's oh my God, I can't even imagine. I both my wife and I are like super sensitive to sound and stuff like that because I grew up on a farm too, so I'm used to like complete quiet.
Yeah.
So even living in a city, like we had to move out to the suburbs because like living in apartments is just so loud, and like you're just always hearing the guy above you just taking the loudest pee of his life every 20 minutes. Like you can hear everything in these apartments down here. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you ever fear of being canceled when doing your jokes?
Um, I don't think I fear it. It's I'm not really talking about too much edgy stuff on stage,
That's true.
it's not. Yeah, it's not something I really think about too much because I unintentionally have been writing like very clean material lately.
Yeah.
Like, um, and people will ask me, they're like, "Oh, are you trying to like be more accessible?" I'm just like, it's just how I feel and it's how I write. And I remember somebody asked Brian Regan that this I don't know if you know are familiar with that comedian, but he's a very clean comic, and he's just like, I just don't feel like swearing. I just don't feel like talking about edgy stuff or anything like that. And like my idea of comedy is to get people's mind off of things. So instead of talking about what the hell is happening in this terrible, terrible world, I'm going
Yeah.
to be like, here's 10 things I love about my vacuum cleaner. Like, it's
Look on the bright side.
I know, just trying to be goofy and stupid. That's what I like.
Yeah. So how did you start with the Costco jokes?
It really all started on Twitter during the pandemic, actually, because um, yeah, my wife and I would go to Costco to stock up,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
and we were just there all the time. And there was something calming about it. Like even during the peak pandemic, when it felt like the world was ending, I'd go to Costco and I'd be like, "We're all together. We're all
Yeah.
doing the same thing, and it's hopeful. And there's a bounty. There's so much stuff, and everyone's like excited to get their big stuff." I think it I think it's what people feel like when they go to church. It's like when they have like a community to go. I
Yeah.
see like the same receipt checkers and like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, it was nice. So I started tweeting about it and like just jokingly being like, oh, I love taking big pisses at Costco and stuff like that. And like I love using the toilets at Costco, just being very stupid about it.
Yeah.
And and people just started really knowing me as that guy, and I just started tweeting more about Costco, and then it turned into stand up material eventually, and then recently my stand up was played at the Costco shareholders meeting. Like the
Really?
CEOs of Costco like played my material because they're like, oh, look at this idiot talking about Costco or whatever. They didn't pay me any money for it, which
They
sucks,
paid
but
you an exposure.
I'm exposure to other Costco people. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I'm grateful for that in that sense, but it's been fun.
Have you ever been to Sam's Club before?
Oh, I've never. I wouldn't want the paparazzi to catch me in those doors.
Wear a
They
mask.
would
You
have
go
a
in
field.
disguise.
I know. I could just wear another mustache
Yeah,
over my
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mustache.
They're like,
Yeah,
I can't recognize this person.
it's a different guy.
Exactly.
I was I was doing a show in Texas recently, and I have so much Costco material, and I was like, y'all go to Costco?" And they all were Sam's Club people.
Yeah.
All the whole crowd was like, "We love Sam's Club," and I'm like, "Okay." So I just changed my Costco material to Sam's Club.
Oh
I was
God.
like, "I'll just say Sam's Club instead of Costco or whatever," and it still worked. They're like, "Yeah, it's like the same place
It
basically."
really is, honestly. Like I've been to both. More usually more to Costco, I'm not gonna lie. But it's like they're kind of the same thing, just like different colors.
The difference I heard, this woman yelled out at a show that there was a pizza deal, so two slices of pizza
Yeah.
and a pop for 250. She was very excited about that. That almost sold me on Sam's Club alone. I was like, two slices for 250. That's huge.
Depends on
What a
how big the
deal.
slice is.
Yeah, they could be little thin guys.
Yeah.
Could be little thin Lizzies.
We're
We
we're
don't know
yeah,
that.
we're just used to Costco's like freaking cheese blocks over there.
Those the cheese slice is crazy. I read somewhere that there's so much protein in the cheese slice
Yeah.
that like bodybuilders will eat it after like a workout. They're like, it's actually good after workouts. I'm like, I don't. I think you're
You just see a
tricking
gym
yourself.
meeting at the Costco benches over there. Yeah.
Yeah, just double fisting giant cheese slices.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Oh, I'm definitely gonna get a pizza after I'm done here.
I want pizza
Just
now too.
realizing that. I
Ah.
know.
You just see me at Costco getting gas and just getting another pizza slice.
Oh yeah, that's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Um, to pump gas while eating a slice of pizza, man,
Exactly.
that would be great
That would be great.
someday.
Someday. Maybe today. I don't know.
Could be any day now.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I do need a pump gas, but yeah, whatever. So,
All right, you'll get it.
I'll find it someday. Don't you think Costco is kind of like the bougie nightclub of grocery stores? Like they have you like check in ID
Absolutely.
and things.
Oh, I love that. Well, that's what I hate when you're walking in Costco, and I always have my card out.
Yeah.
I'm always just like
I
showing it to
feel so
everybody,
scared.
and
I
I
feel
hate
like
when they
I'm
don't.
illegal in there, which I should not be
Yeah,
saying as a immigrant, but like
yeah,
it's like I feel like I'm like I have a card, don't worry.
yeah. And I don't even know why they really check because why would you go in there without a card? Because you wouldn't be able to cash out if you like. What person is going in there shopping and then getting all the way to the cash and being like, oh, I don't even belong here.
Oh,
I
I thought
can't
this was
even.
Sam's Club.
It's ridiculous, but it does. Yeah, it does. I love that it's the membership. It feels very. That's probably what also the sense of community too. I'm like, we all paid to be here, huh? This is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're all a special little group, even though there's like thousands and thousands of members.
Exactly. No, I always like. There was this one time, me and my friend, we didn't have Costco cards, but our parents did. So we just like snuck in through like the return aisle.
Oh, tricky!
It,
It
it
works.
worked. We're just like, oh, we're just here to
Yeah.
return something. And then we got food, so it was great.
Oh yeah, perfect. Well, even I don't know if it's the same up there, but down here you actually don't need a membership to get the food
Yeah, you don't need
in
one to get the
California.
food.
Yeah. So,
You know what I miss so much? The churros.
mm, I know I had because they replaced it with cookies,
Yeah,
the big ass chocolate chip cookies. And I had one of those cookies. And I'm like, it's almost too much. It was like just thick and all the calories. I can't even think about the amount of calories in that damn cookie. But churros were exciting. Churros felt like you're at like a carnival
Yeah.
a little bit,
Chur-
like a grocery store carnival.
yeah, I just feel so nostalgic eating those churros. And I'm like, every
Yeah,
time
I
my
know.
parents go to Costco, I'm like, give me two churros. You know that.
Yeah, it's easy. An easy eat too. I like that they're just like very handheld foods too, on the
Yeah,
go. I love an on the go food.
like pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have Costco in Canada? Because I was searching online, and there are Costco stores in Canada, but they're not as much.
Yeah, I definitely think there's less, but they are all over. Yeah, there's a couple in Toronto for sure. The best part about a Costco in Canada, I mean, is the food courts for sure because they have poutine, which
Hmm.
is I don't know if you've ever had a poutine before. The old fries, gravy, and cheese curd situation.
I have not. Should I try it?
Oh my god, it's the greatest thing in the world. And it's hard to get like a really good poutine in Canada, and Costco makes like such a good one. It's actually like ridiculous. It's got really good gravy, really good cheese curds.
Yeah.
Also, they have chicken fingers too, so chicken tenders, part of the food court. It's a wild west up there.
Wow. I did not
Yeah,
expect this out of Canada.
this is huge news. This podcast is going to explode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah, the shareholders of Costco are gonna be like, so we're actually being exposed right now.
Yeah, they're talking about the tendies.
Yeah,
They're not
people are
supposed to know about
migrating up
this.
there.
Yeah, yeah. As if you need more excuses to go to Canada right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's not that many out here currently. I don't think so, at least.
They're in Michigan.
Just, I mean, that was a joke, but
Okay, I didn't get that there for a sec.
I'm not really caught up on the news recently. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
yeah. Uh, have you ever asked Costco to sponsor you?
Oh yeah, of course. But it's very clear that they do not need me.
Oh.
So it's. I talked to a journalist, the one that told me that they were playing my stand up at their shareholders meeting, and I was like, "Do you think they would sponsor me, or I could maybe MC an event?" And they're like, "No, Costco's run by like a bunch of weird old men that don't like social media, and they're like completely like Luddites when it comes to like all they know is Costco, and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything surrounding it, everyone knows about Costco. They don't need a guy like me trying to push it. Like, who am I telling? Everyone already knows about it.
Yeah. You're playing to the wrong audience.
Yeah, pretty much, or an audience that already knows about it. So it's no sponsorship, but we'll see what Sam's Club says. Maybe I'll make a pivot.
Wow. You did not just do that.
I know. I won't. I can't. I won't. Maybe I will. I don't know.
See, the difference about Sam's Club is that you don't actually need a membership to get into it. You can just go in. You just need it at the very end of checkout. But the thing is,
Oh, man.
if you I don't know why I'm spilling all this tea right now, but
Hot tea.
if you have someone else's like scanning code, you can just scan yours and then pay with your own card and stuff. So
Oh my
you
God.
don't actually need to get the membership. This sounds illegal, and it probably is, but
Huge news. Yeah, the cops are on their way
I know
for sure.
I know a few people may or may not related to me that do that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Totally ratting them out.
maybe I'm just telling them go back to Costco. There's better deals.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So on YouTube, I've been looking at social media, unlike the Costco executives. I saw that you used to host the late night talk show on a subway. How did that start?
Well, I was on the Toronto subway one night with a couple other comedians, and
Yeah.
we were looking at the seats. There was like the seats across. There was like kind of two and two, and they were just angled a certain way. And I was like, that kind of looks like a talk show kind of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like I was like, has anyone done that? And all the comedians that I was with, they were like, no, no one's. Why would you do that? That's so stupid. Like, what a dumb thing. And then so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it because my whole mentality with creative things is if I think of something, I'll do it. I'll just execute it in some capacity and see what happens, kind of thing. Which goes back to yeah, just not hesitating. So I was like, you know what? See if I can host a talk show on the subway. Who cares? And got a friend of mine who had a really nice camera, rented some mics, some lav mics,
Yeah.
and yeah, just started shooting it like guerrilla style, no permits or anything. Uh, which we almost got caught a couple times. Some of the transit employees, they would see us with a camera, and I'm in a suit with a microphone, and they're like, "You're not going to film anything, are you?" And they're looking at the camera and me in a suit, and I'm like, "Oh no,
No,
no, no, we're not
I'm
going
just
to
a
do it.
plain old guy who goes to Costco.
I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy on the subway." Um, but yeah, I did it for like a couple years,
Yeah.
and I really had a fun time doing it. I was gonna continue it in LA because there's a subway system here,
Yeah.
and I rode it once just to kind of scout it, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is
Not it.
much more dangerous.
Oh.
I
Oh.
would get killed if I did it down here for sure.
Oh God, that sounds. You could rent out like a whole fake subway, like not the actual subway, just like
Yeah, I know. But there's something about the spontaneity of doing it in a live subway. Like sometimes we'd be filming and people would be like sitting behind us, just kind of looking over.
yeah,
What the hell? Like why? Like I interviewed like Scott Thompson from Kids in the
yeah,
Hall
yeah.
on the subway, and people were like, "Why is like that guy's a celebrity? Like why is he
Why is he
talking to this
here?
idiot?" Yeah, and then my friend has the camera across from us, and he has it like under a scarf, so like no one can kind of see it. So it looks like we're just loudly talking, and I'm interviewing him. No one could see the camera, so it was very stupid. I miss doing it actually.
You should interview me. I think I'll be very funny.
Yeah, sure. Next time you're in Toronto and
Yeah,
I'm there, and
yeah. We're
yes,
and
let's
there's a
do it.
whole camera crew there. Just
Yep,
by coincidence, we can do it.
yep. Happens to be there. Absolutely.
yeah. How did you get Scott Thompson to be interviewed on it? By the way.
I just knew him through the comedy scene, so just doing stand up and seeing him around, and yeah, I've been such a huge fan of his and all the Kids in the Hall my whole life. So I was kind of like goo goo gaga over like
Yeah.
just even meeting him, and then he's just such a cool guy. He's just such like a fun, personable guy, and we kept in contact, and I mean he was in Kids in the Hall for God's sake. So like when I asked him to be on my subway talk show, he was like, yeah, sure, like that. He loves that stuff. So it was
Yeah.
easy. It was yeah, I was very grateful for that.
Yeah. I don't actually know like Scott from like Kids in the Hall because I think I'm in the wrong generation for that. But I do know him from. Have you seen the TV show Hannibal?
Yes, yeah, I watched the whole. I think I watched the first season of that
Yeah.
with Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I love Mads Mikkelsen.
he used to come to a comedy show in Toronto because that show is filmed in
Yeah,
Toronto.
yeah, yeah.
And there was this like crappy comedy show I used to go to in this bar, and Mads Mikkelsen was there for like 3 months straight, just drinking and watching the show. And I remember I did a set and I came off stage and Mads Mikkelsen hugged me and he goes, "Brother," he goes, "that was so funny. You're such a goofball." And I was like,
That's
it
your
was
Danish.
so
That's your
weird.
Danish impression.
I don't, I guess I don't know what his accent is. It was just jarring to see him in real life too. And then he started drinking my friend's beer, and he just let him because it's like it's Mads Mikkelsen. Who cares?
yeah, it's Mads
Guy can do
Mikkelsen.
whatever he wants.
Man,
Yeah,
I love Mads Mikkelsen. Oh, I would watch any show he's on.
striking man, striking.
He's yeah. I can
Yeah, piercing eyes.
yeah. Okay. Anyways, enough about Mads. Uh, do you watch any late night shows? Would you like? Do you like enjoy watching those things?
Uh, Not really the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch like a Kimmel clip every now and then, or if my friends, sometimes my friends are on Fallon, and I'll watch their sets to see how it went.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Conan though. Conan was the number one for me.
Yeah.
I listen to his podcast all the time, and I'm always watching old Conan clips.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to work on Conan a couple times, and I acted in a few like sketches on the show. Um, and I got to meet him, which was crazy. He was like the nicest man you'll ever meet, which is perfect
Yeah.
because you're like, God, I hope he's nice. I hope he's like that in real life, and he absolutely is. Um,
How much taller was he?
that's Then me. He was huge because he was like 6'4", six
Yeah.
five, and I'm like 6'2", but I was still like, and then the hair adds so much more to it.
Had a little bit of length there.
Yeah, it was like when like those Roman soldier helmets are put
Yeah.
there to like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make them look taller. I was like, man, this guy's enormous. Um, but yeah, it was another striking man to meet as well.
Wow. I have you watched the new TV series Conan O'Brien Must Go?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought it was great. Yeah, I wish there were more episodes for God's sake. There was only like five or something, or yeah, there was like barely any. But
Gotta get more
I'll watch
money.
anything that man does. Absolutely.
Man, he's great. He's great. I
Hmm.
also love watching his old like TV clips and oh I love listening to like his Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with people like comedians I love and I'm like, "Oh my God, oh, wait, I know that person. Let me listen to this."
Yeah. Oh my God. I would. Yeah. Big dream of mine would be to be on that show. It's funny because his old head writer was named Matt O'Brien,
I
and
when I was researching, I often got mixed up. I was like, Matt O'Brien was an Emmy Award winning writer. This does not sound right.
no, definitely not right. I When I first moved to LA, I got mistaken for him all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't correct people. Like I would get booked on shows, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we got the head writer for Conan," and I'm like, "Yeah, here I am."
Yeah, I've been on Conan.
Yep. Because that's the thing. I worked on it, so they're like, "Okay, he was on Conan, and he's the writer," so it kind of all added up for people. But and then when I went in the second time to Conan, I met Matt O'Brien. He saw me across the hall, and he goes, "Well, there he is." Like he knew about me, and I knew about him because he was like, "I get mistaken for you." Like
Oh,
people try to book me on shows thinking I'm a stand-up comedian. He goes, "I'm not a comedian. You're the comedian. I'm the writer." And it's just, yeah, it was ridiculous.
what if you guys just like combine into one identity? So then like you could be stand up and a
No,
writer.
yeah, if we like run really fast and smash into each other and
Yeah,
just see if
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
become one being, one Matt O'Brien. We should battle it out like Highlanders to see who who can continue to exist.
Yeah.
There can only be one Matt O'Brien in LA, I think.
Conan can know
I
only
think that's
one person, one Matt O'Brien.
yeah, I know.
Wow. Uh, do people like expect you to like? Do people if they book you and they think you're like a head writer, do they book you for writing gigs or stand up gigs?
They were booking me for stand-up gigs, which is weird. Um, or if I would email shows to request a spot, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, the writer for Conan, anytime. Of course, we would love to have you," because a lot of writers are stand-up comedians as well, so it
Yeah.
kind of made sense. But and that's literally the one part of comedy I haven't really cracked is the writing stuff. I've done little writing jobs here and there,
Yeah.
but it's just like a whole other universe of failure. That's how I see it.
I mean, like, I feel like it's very hard because it's like I feel like stand up is you kind of have to you have a method of like trial and error, but like writing you would have to kind of like hope and fix one thing and just see that it works at the very end.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like about stand up is that you have to perform it in front of people, and you get an immediate response of how the thing you wrote, how good it is.
Yeah.
Whereas writing is like you're by yourself and you email it to someone, and then just fingers crossed that you don't come off sounding like a complete psychopath. Like I like the immediate back and forth of like a live
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Like I think this is funny. I say it, and then the audience tells me if it's funny or not.
yeah.
So and then I learn that quickly.
Have you seen Seth Meyers' like segment of corrections.
I think I have. Yeah, it
Oh wait, no,
sounds
no, no.
familiar.
Oh wait, surprise inspection.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
It's basically where um, he grabs real jokes that his writers wrote, but they're unusable in like the monologue and other things, and they're like just terribly bad jokes, and he just says all of them, and like he exposes who wrote what.
Oh, that's funny. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's so funny to watch, and there's like a
I did
common
that.
there's
I
common
did a
like
similar thing actually. Um, I recorded a new comedy album a couple weeks ago,
yeah
and I don't think this is going to make the album, but I had a part at the end. I was like, I brought my notes out, and I'm like, here are some random shit that I don't even know if it's funny or not, and I just kind of tossed it out there. And yeah, even with a polite crowd, some of the jokes they were like,
eh.
like so they're like, don't use that kind of thing. But it's funny to toss stuff out just willy nilly.
Yeah, I feel like that's the whole point of like stand up. Like you just kind of like toss out ideas and see if the audience responds to them.
It's literally it. It's and I tell people like that ask me for comedy writing advice, and they're like, "Well, how do you write your comedy?" I was like, "Well, literally, when you think of something that even might be mildly funny, write it down, and then even if it's like just like the word moist or like you're like what's like something like anything,
Yeah,
and then you can cycle back to it. And like I've had joke ideas that I write down and they don't actually become jokes until like sometimes like 4 or 5 years after I write that idea down. So you never know what's going to be what. Just
yeah.
write everything down.
Write everything down. Sounds like a
Mm-hmm.
psychopath. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. That's a psycho idea, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna see your like biography. I don't know why I said biography. It's just like full of notes, just full of notes, and they're like
Yeah,
people are
just
reading and they're like, it's
complete.
not even funny. Like,
Yeah, it's just random words and letters, and they're not even in any kind of order.
yeah,
That's it. But we all have our process.
exactly. Do you try to when you make your jokes try to like reach a certain audience, like an age group, or like certain like if you tour this area, do you try to center your jokes around that specific area so they feel more welcomed?
That's a great question. I don't, but it's funny because I can, on my social medias, I can look at the analytics and see what age groups I'm really
Yeah,
popping off with.
yeah,
And I actually looked at this the other day. It's funny you even asked that. And like, it's like women 35 to 65
yeah,
are really into me. I don't know what it is I'm saying, but it's like some men, but it's also older people. So older people 35 to 65 is like, and then teens don't know what the hell I'm talking about apparently. So I'm surprised I'm even on your podcast. Um,
I'm a special teenager.
but yeah, apparently. Um, but no, and I find that so fascinating, and I'd like to understand what I'm talking about. And then I also have a fear. I'm like, am I becoming like an old man now that I'm
Yes.
just like talking about old people things? So I don't know, but it's yeah, I think if I actively tried to gear myself towards a certain age group, I would lose who I am. And I just
Yeah,
like my whole mentality is like I'm just gonna be me and whoever likes it kind of thing.
yeah, that makes sense. It's like don't try to
Yeah.
adjust to what people want you to think. Let them adjust to
Yeah.
you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you think younger people still like stand-up comedy? Comedy?
Same with commodities.
Yeah.
Um, I I think so. I mean, everything's really changing lately because obviously like crowd work videos are really popping off
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Um, so much so that if I do a show, a live show lately, and I don't do crowd work, I've had audience members come up to me and be like, "Why didn't you talk to us? Like, why didn't you ask me my job or what do I?" They're like, "I thought that's what this was supposed to be," and I'm like, "No, it's actually supposed to just be us telling jokes."
Yeah.
But now it's people have come to their perception of what stand up is has completely changed. I think in the last couple of years, and yeah, I don't. know if young people like stand up because, like I said, my age group is 35 to 65, so I have no idea what's going on with young people.
I mean, I personally I would count myself as a young people, and I don't like I know certain select individuals who enjoy certain comedians. And but like if I start like geeking out and be like, "Oh my god, John Mulaney, oh my god, this person." They're like, "Who?" Like,
Really?
"What?"
Wow.
So, like that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I respect you for that.
If I don't have friends near me, I'm going to find them somewhere.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also stand up when I was young, stand up seemed like an old man game kind
It
of thing
still
because I
is.
only knew, yeah, it is for sure. I only knew comedians to be like, like Rodney Dangerfield or
Yeah.
like these old men in blazers that, in smoky old clubs. And then
Yeah.
when as I got older, I mean, more people in their 20s started doing, there was like a younger surge of comedians that came out and still is. So I don't know. Stand up has always come in waves in society. So it's
Yeah.
like they always talk about stand up comedy booms, and you know every 10 years or so, people either love it or they forget about it. It just keeps coming back and forth. So
Yeah. I think I'll be like a forever lover though. I like stand up.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Good. Yes.
Yeah.
Keep investing your money in it, please.
It's just one day I'll come to your show, don't worry. Or
Yes.
maybe I'll just invest in
Exactly.
it to get a Costco membership card.
Either one is a win for me. I think that's fine
You
with
get
me.
some of the stocks.
I wish. Damn.
Okay. So you were saying how like sometimes you don't do crowd work. How much improv or like kind of like on the go things do you really say in your like bits, I would say.
Um, I do a lot of kind of improv stuff because when I started comedy, I always wanted each show to kind of have a uniqueness to it.
Yeah.
So I wanted people to be like what they just saw. They're like, oh, I could have only seen that tonight because pointed out something in the room, or I just kind of talked about something that happened to me literally that day.
Mhm.
So I'll sprinkle in some improv, but majority is pre-written material. But this happened a couple of weeks. Is I have a way of saying some material where people think I'm improving it because
Yeah.
I want it to sound conversational. So I did like a 40-minute set, and some guy came up to me after, and he goes, that was just all off the top of your head, huh? And I'm like, no, that took me years to write,
Hey,
but
that's
I'm
a
glad
certain
it seemed like,
skill. That's a skill.
yeah, I know it was nice.
Maybe you should be an actor. You never know.
Well, I dabble.
You dabble. You dabble.
Yeah, I have acted. I do
Oh yeah,
act
I've
when.
seen you getting yelled by Gordon Ramsay before.
Yep, that was an exciting day. It was very odd. Also, he's like the nicest man in the world. Like you want him to be like that curmudgeony Gordon Ramsay, and then he came in. He's like, "Oh, lovely to meet you. Oh, isn't it lovely? Oh, what's your name, Matt? Oh, it's just what a pleasure." And then the cameras came on, and he was like, "Oh," like just all of a sudden,
On you to
like a
right to
bulldog.
Conan.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a weird day.
that I feel like that definitely felt weird. And also, you said this person has been the nicest guy on the world like 5 times today to 5 different people.
You know what that is? That's like a Hollywood thing. Unfortunately, that's like, when you see celebrities like getting interviewed on like the red carpet at the Oscars. So like,
Yeah.
oh, I loved working with him. He's the greatest man in the world. It's it's just like this. I think it's a high you get from acting with like celebrities or something. You're just like, oh, I love them. They were the nicest. Because
Yeah, yeah.
if they're any bit of nice, you're like, oh, I can't believe they were actually nice.
Oh my god, he said
It
hi
just
to
like is so
me.
exciting to you.
Yeah.
Nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, I'll just if someone asks me about you, I'll be like, "Oh my god, he's the nicest guy in the world. You won't even believe him."
And you'd be like, you're so Hollywood.
Yeah, I was just born in LA.
Yeah. Born in LA, baby.
Yeah. So, on your YouTube again, you have a wine series. Is that just a secret way to monetize your alcoholism?
Pretty much. You pretty much nailed it. Yeah, it was I mean, it started as like a something to do.
Yeah.
Also, another like idea I had because in Canada, where I grew up, you had to go to certain stores to get booze, literally the liquor store or the beer store. That's what they're called. And down here, I was at a dollar store and I saw that they sold wine,
The
and
dollar store
it
just has
blew my mind.
everything.
Oh my god, it was crazy. Yeah, there was like fruit and wine, and it was like a full grocery store, and the wine looked absolutely disgusting, and it was so cheap. And I'm like, I wonder if anyone's reviewing these. Like, why would you review these? And then I just started doing it. I started getting like $2 bottles of wine that
Yeah.
tasted like absolute antifreeze, and and sipping it. I wouldn't drink the full bottle,
I don't think you
but I would.
could.
I think I would be in a hospital. Yeah. Um, but yeah, there were some real bad ones. But it another thing that just like a stupid dumb idea that just I executed and people like related to, and actual like connoisseurs would like reach out to me and sorry, my dog's barking. Shangela,
What's its name?
Shangela, Shange. She's named after our favorite drag queen, uh,
Nice.
as you do.
Yeah.
Shange, come here, come here, you little idiot. Yeah, man, he comes every day. Get up here. There you go. She's camera shy. There's a lot going on outside. There's a mailman. There's garbage day. The real flurry of activity out here.
Yeah, it just wonders for her. Yeah. All right, this is one of the last questions, okay? What is your
All right.
dream gig?
Ooh, dream gig. I would love to be on a sitcom.
Yeah.
I, I, my ideal living is I have a sitcom. I'm the lead, and when we're not filming, I tour theaters and sell them out because people know me from the sitcom. Um, I think that would be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and my wife and I have a big house and we have 5 chihuahuas and we just live our lives. And we don't have to buy wine at the dollar store.
You always
That's
could. You don't have to.
I could, I don't have to, but I wouldn't have to. That's the grand scheme of things for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people have said that. Like I've interviewed like a few people and they're always like, "Oh, I just want to be like on a TV show with my friends and have fun."
Yeah, it's like because a friend of mine is on the new Frasier reboot,
As I see with your
and
hat.
yeah, oh yeah, I mean that's not even from the show, but it just
Oh.
happened already. Um, but we've gone to live tapings of the new Frasier, and yeah, it's just this looks like so much fun. It's
Yeah.
just so much fun, and they all are like, oh, they're the nicest people in the world, of course. Um, and it's just like, man, I just being on a movie studio too, because it's on the Paramount lot
Yeah,
in
yeah.
LA here, and you're just like, God, I would love to come here every day. Like, it's just so exciting
Yeah. Instead of like once in a lifetime, you go like always in a lifetime.
all the time. You're like, this is my work. This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What are some places I should go to in LA? Knowing me.
Oh, I mean, you got to go to the Comedy Store if you've never been.
Okay.
I think it's the greatest comedy venue on the planet for sure. Um, just the fact that it has multiple rooms and the people that will drop in there are is crazy, and it's just such a fun like hang.
Yeah.
Um, also, I mean, it's not comedy related. You should go to the Magic Castle.
The Magic
You
Castle.
have to go to the Magic Castle. It's like the Comedy Store for magicians. It's
Okay.
so much fun.
Okay.
And like everyone has to get dressed up, and there's like you can get dinner there,
Yeah.
and there's multiple rooms of like close up magic and stuff like that, and there's like a ghost piano that you can like request songs on. um it's insane. It's so much fun. And then yeah, go for a hike, go to Runyon Canyon, uh go to Grand Central Market downtown and get some weird food. uh yeah, go walk around Hollywood. Don't You can go to Hollywood Boulevard, but it's kind of gross. You'll go there for 5 minutes just
Yeah,
to
I
say
went there. I went to LA once, like last year. I went to Hollywood Boulevard. I'm like, this is not what I imagined.
yeah, it's not. They're renovating it, thank God, because the Olympics are coming here, so they're kind of like
Oh yeah.
overhauling the whole city. But I used to live three blocks away from Hollywood Boulevard, and it's just a nightmare. Helicopters all the time,
Yeah.
and people just being all over the streets. It's yeah, it's not very glamorous, but go to the beach.
Hey, you live on
Beach
a
is fun.
coast, so
Yeah,
exactly.
check out Venice Beach, man.
Oh, that sounds good. Okay. Anyway, I was imagining it. All right, last question. What is your advice to people who want to start for stand up or just anything comedy related?
I think if you're thinking of doing it, do it. Just don't hesitate, and no matter what age you are, like I know people I started with that were like 16, 17, like sneaking into open mics, and now they're like seasoned headlining comedians. And such an advantage to start young too, because you get your stage legs quicker, and there's so much to learn with stand up too. So I wish I'd started sooner. I started at like 21, which is still pretty young,
Yeah.
but that's my biggest advice is that, and I think has been a running theme through all of what I've said, is like just execute your ideas and do it immediately, because you have one life and who knows how long it is. Get out there and try it, do it, freak yourself out,
Yeah.
and make yourself uncomfortable.
You know what brand you'd be great for? Nike.
That
Just do it.
just Canadian Nike, just freaking do it,
Just
eh?
friggin' do it.
Freaking do it, dude.
Oh my god. Well, Matt, it was great having you here. I hope to see you sometime, maybe in LA or Toronto. I don't know where you really live, but maybe I'll see you somewhere out on the streets. I'd be like, oh, aren't you on Conan?
Yeah, aren't you the head writer for Conan?
Yeah.
No, well, maybe someday. But no, thank you so much for having me. This was such a fun talk.
Yeah. I hope to see you in person, as I said.
You too. Thanks so much.
Yeah, maybe when I'm 18 and not a teenager any. Well, I'm still a teenager when I'm 18. 19, no, 20.
Yeah, do that
I'll wait a few more
and
years,
come.
and then
Yeah, okay.
when the police stop tapping your phone.
Any day now.
All right.
Love it. Thanks so much.
Thank
Thanks for
you
having
so
me.
much. Hey, it's me again. Thank you for listening to this episode so much, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did when I was interviewing him. I personally love Costco. I'm so sad they got rid of the churros, but you win some, you lose some. But I really hope you enjoyed this episode. It's probably one of my best ones. And I hope you have a good day, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in your area when you're listening to this, to enjoy life and just keep laughing and watch more comedy. I'm actually trying to determine whether I'm going to go to another live comedy club. And I need to watch, speaking of which, I need to watch a special to determine whether I find the guy funny. So we will see. I will update you guys probably next time we see each other or hear each other, I guess. But have a good day, and thank you for listening again. See you later.